Here's the setup for the second part of our pullback car lab. We've got our 1, 2, 3 sections of track. I've got the short piece right here. The end of the track though now is off of the end of the table. So we're going to be running our car off of the table and we're going to try to catch it in a bowl or something. So first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to measure the height of your table. So you're going to need to use your measuring tape and measure the height of the table. Now once you have the height of the table, you're going to have to do a calculation to figure out how much time it's going to take with the car in the air. Alright, so now you have the height of your table, so it's time to figure out how much time your car is going to spend in the air. So again, we're going to use that same triangle where we're going to have our distance, our half, our acceleration, and our time squared. We're looking now for the time piece, so our time squared is equal to our distance over half of the acceleration. Now the acceleration in this part is going to be from the free fall, so this is really gravity, which is actually 9.8 meters per second squared. So that's what we're going to use for that acceleration. The distance that you had to measure though had to be in meters, so make sure that you converted that to meters. So like for my example, my table was 0.753 meters high, so it was 75.3. I just moved the decimal 2 places. So that's my distance. I'm going to do that by half of the 9.8, and that's going to give me my amount of time in the air. So now I've got to grab my calculator again. Okay, so we're going to take our 0.753. We're going to divide it by half, and then we're going to divide that by 9.8. So that gives me my time squared. So time squared is equal to my 0.153. So I have to square root that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that square root. So that really my time in the air is 0.392 seconds. So that's my time that I spent in the air. I can then take my velocity that the car had. So again, now we're going to another triangle. So we're going to figure out our distance based on that speed. So our distance is velocity times time. This is going to be when we're at the end of the table. So our distance is just equal to the velocity times the time. So my velocity was 200 centimeters per second. My time in the air is 0.392 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and times this by 200, or whatever my average. This should be whatever your average came out to be. Okay, times that, and that'll give you the distance that you're going to put your container to try to catch it. So like I should have had my container at 0.78 or 78.4 centimeters. And that's where I'll mark it, and then I'll try to do that. But remember to use your average value from part 1 to do this. Okay? Now that you've got the time in the air calculated and you've figured out your range of where it's going to be, you want to make sure that you set the tape measure down on the end of the ruler but on the floor, and then you're going to put something to catch your car on the mark of where you calculate it, and then all you have to do is run it to test it. So again, pull the car back same way as you did when you collected your data, let it go, and then see if it lands in the bowl.